Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome, my friends, to New Life Live, the radio program and podcast that helps you get on the path to healing, wellness, and, well, new life. I'm Brian Perez, joined in the studio by licensed marriage and family therapist Marc Cameron. How are you today, Marc?
I'm doing well today.
Good to see you again. And also joining us is licensed professional clinical counselor Becky Brown, who is also the president of New Life Ministries. How are you, Becky, and what's on your mind?
I'm doing well. Hi, Brian. Hi, Marc. You know what's on my mind is frames. Actually, recently I went antiquing with my daughter, and man, it was like an archaeological dig. You know, you go through rows and rows of just stuff, all the things, and of course, my brain goes to, oh, I wonder who owned these, and I wonder what the story, and I wonder what their house was like. I mean, that's how I do it. My daughter's looking for a specific item, something that she might be collecting. But one thing in particular that she was looking at were framed pictures. There's so many of them, and so many of the older frames are these solid wood frames. They're, made well, and then got some scary pictures in them. Sometimes there's scary pictures of people, but there's others that are this gold leaf frame. It was fascinating. And what a lot of people will buy those old pictures, and they'll either hang the old picture or they'll remove the picture and use that frame for something that they love and hang it in their home, and it starts a whole nother story. Well, it made me think of the therapeutic technique called reframing. It's part of cognitive behavioral thinking, but to give you the definition, it's helping individuals change the way that they view the situation, thoughts, or feelings by shifting their perspective. And so, the thought is, can you look at a situation, a person, or a problem in a different way? You have to challenge those negative thoughts or unhelpful interpretations and replace them with something that's more balanced and positive or realistic. Like if you're real committed that the other person is the problem, you will not see any other solution. There's a great question that you can ask in reframing. Is it true? Is it really true? Just questioning can give you a different perspective. When you address those negative thought patterns, they will help you address the negative or the emotional distress that you're experiencing. So if you imagine that frame that you have placed around the problem, that it'll never change, it's always going to be this way, or whatever the thing is that you're stuck, that you're framed, you can replace the picture. Now, I took it one more step. I thought about how, as believers or followers of Christ, the framework of our life is dictated by what Jesus calls us to. And so that's where that forgiveness comes in. That's where asking for endurance in difficult situations. So many times we want the basic 1, 2, 3. I just want the new picture, I want the new frame, and I want to hang it up in my new house. And you can see the analogy there. There are things that we're going to be called to that is going to require us to endure. We're going to have to pray. We're going to have to ask for God's courage and strength, and He will provide. I want to leave with this one framework. Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. So if you're having struggles looking at a certain picture in your life, you may need to reframe it, and we can get you connected with somebody who can help you with that.
Yes, we can. That's a great scripture reference. Again, what is it? The address?
Isaiah 43:19.
All right, in case anybody wants to look it up and meditate on it, there's a great piece of scripture there. And Becky Brown, thank you for sharing it as we begin today's episode of New Life Live, and we'll be right back with your questions here on the program. Stand by.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books, or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to intimacy in marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy in Marriage workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy in Marriage weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Men, have you ever stopped to consider what happens in your brain when you watch pornography? Check out the latest episode of our Every Man's Battle podcast to find out. A new episode of EMB came out just a few days ago. It does every Monday. And in this one, JJ West and Doug Barnes dive deeper into neurobiology and brain chemistry as it relates to sex addiction. You won't want to miss this very interesting breakdown. You can find Every Man's Battle wherever you get your podcasts or watch on our YouTube channel, and make sure to like, share, and follow. And
yeah, I listened to that. I listened to that, and it's very good. So, you know, you don't have to have the problem to listen to the podcast, but the guys do a great job of just walking through those details, and it's very informative. So just a little 2-cent plug there.
All right. And again, you can get that wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go to the phones now. Here is Anne, who is listening to us in Washington, D.C. on WAVA. Hello, Anne. Welcome to New Life Live.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I'm calling about my 29-year-old who has recently said to me that she's open to marrying a woman. Quick background, at 5 years old, she went to a babysitter, both she and her brother, and the sitter we checked out, grandparents. They had also a granddaughter that went to school with our children, and she was 13 years old at the time. My daughter was 5. And I later found out that she was touching my daughter on a regular basis after school when she would go there. After school, she was a first grader, and this 13-year-old was in the 7th grade. And my daughter never said anything until a year or so later. And, of course, we discontinued that relationship and no longer took her there. But it was a pivotal point in that, of course, it was striking, it was frightening. We talked to the parents and said, you know, we were very disappointed, that, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward, my daughter, she did have some counseling in the 1st grade, and she tended to lean towards adventurous activities. She was extremely involved in sports. That was her drive. And so soccer and swimming and basketball and softball. And fast forward through middle school and high school, she would always make the team. And so in high school, we noticed when she was playing varsity basketball that there were rumors that she and one of the players were dating. And so I thought,
So all these years later, she's now open to being married to a woman, you said?
That's correct.
Mark?
She dated men in college in her undergraduate program and graduate program. And so now she just recently said, Mom, what? You acting as though you have amnesia. You know, I'll date a woman, and I'm just devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's not dating a woman right now, but she's kind of letting you know where she is. And when she says, "Mom, do you have amnesia?" it sounds like she's saying, "Hey, you knew about my sexuality for a long time. I've been open about it." Is that what you're saying?
That's what she's implying. Yeah. I don't know if I was thinking I was going to pray it away, hope it away, or she'd grow out of it. Because I saw developmental delays socially because she was just so consumed in team sports that a lot of the activities that I know I encountered growing up, she didn't participate in. And so her femininity was really important to me. And so I made a concerted effort to put her in pageants and dance and, you know, some of the things that I thought that would bring out those feminine qualities.
So you're struggling with this. What's your question for us?
My question is, because I'm struggling, she's in therapy and seems to be positive, confident, and progressive, but I'm the one that I just feel like I need help. I don't know where to go in terms of a support group, how to deal with the acceptance, or if I'm blocking the acceptance, or am I seeking denial, or hoping for her to lean towards the other side. She refers to herself as being queer. And I had to really look that word up because I wasn't real sure how to define it.
You said she's in therapy. What is she in therapy for?
Well, she says, you know, that, you know, she needs help sorting through life and, you know, navigating what her next steps should be, and that she really likes her therapist.
And when you say acceptance, I mean, that could mean a few different things here. I mean, there is being accepting of just the situation, the reality of what is going on, which I definitely think is a place that where you need to get to. And then there's accepting a person just because they're a person, they're built in the likeness and image of God. And then there's what you might call affirming, which is sometimes people refer to as accepting, meaning like you are affirming and you're endorsing, and that means you're accepting. But that's, just like Becky was talking about at the beginning of the show with reframing. Sometimes we need to reframe our concept of what a word means. So which one are you talking about here? Is it accepting the reality of the situation, or is your daughter wanting you to affirm and endorse what she's doing, or is she just worried and wanting to know, does my mom just love me and accept me as her daughter?
I think she knows that I love and accept her as her daughter, but I know that she doesn't want it to be conditional. I know that.
And you've mentioned the word devastated. You've mentioned how you had dreams for her. Every parent on the planet has to come to the understanding that their children will grow up and become the people that they're going to become. And that is a journey in and of itself. And so while this is a topic that may seem, it's a life-changing topic. This is something that you have to, I would even wonder if the two of you could be in therapy together so that you can have some conversations. Your daughter saying that, Mom, do you have amnesia? Just like what Marc said, though, what she's saying is she's been telling you who she is and you have not seen it. And so now you're feeling like you're losing her, but you know that she knows that you love her, But I just think this is a relational challenge that needs to be addressed, as opposed to you're going to fix her or she needs fixing or any of those kind of things that may be still running through your mind. Now, I know the listening audience is probably, Becky, you got to tell, all the things that's probably in your head. But here's the reality. This is a person who's made these choices and you're in relationship with her. That's the conversation that has to be had. You're not correcting her. She's not your child anymore. It's a matter of how do I bridge this gap that we have.
Yeah, and what I want to say to you too, and it's okay for you to go through grief. We go through grief whenever we have loss. And so for you, this is a loss of a dream. Of how you picture your daughter's life would turn out. She'd get married, she'd have kids, you'd go over there. And so there's this loss happening. It's okay for you to go through that grief and to go through that loss. Now, if it's difficult for your daughter to hear you talk about that, then maybe you talk about that with someone else. But as as you said before, you mentioned the word denial. Denial is the first stage of grief. And I know that you've wanted to try and shape your daughter and put her into, different kind of activities and things like that. But I also think that there's a part of not knowing your daughter, of feeling unknown, that's maybe even separate from her sexuality that she's felt with you. And, because she said, do you have amnesia? So she's feeling unknown. So I would explore more about that. How well have you felt known by me? Including your sexuality, but also not including your sexuality.
Right.
And seeing what connection can you build with her there.
Right. And I will send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children. And the important thing, Anne, is you don't want to become a one-topic parent. And that is the risk that you have in this very important conversation.
What do you think, Anne?
I have the book Doing Life with Your Adult Children. I'm reading it. Yeah, I have that. Thank you. But I don't know. I just have to continue to grow, continue to pray. And
are you in therapy, Anne? Are you seeing a counselor?
No.
Okay, I would encourage you to do that. And you had mentioned, I'm just recollecting now, there are groups out there. There are groups out there for parents who are struggling with their children's decisions in this area. And so look those up and you'll be able to find support of people who are going through similar experiences as you.
So since Anne already has this book, is there another one that we can suggest to her or send to her from the newlife.com store?
We can send her Jim's other book, Finding Joy in the Empty Nest, because I don't know if that would fit with this next stage of your life. And are you still married? Is your husband in the picture?
Yeah, I'm married, but she would never talk to her dad about this.
Okay.
Or How We Love Our Kids. Maybe you can choose which one. Both fantastic books.
All right, Anne, thank you for calling in today here on New Life Live. We're almost up to our break, but let's talk to Sarah in Los Angeles, and then we'll continue the conversation after the break. Sarah listens on 99.5 KKLA. Thank you, Sarah, for listening to New Life Live and for calling us today. How can we help you?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I love your show. It is so beneficial, and I've just been a part of your audience for so long now. Thank you. I'm calling because I have a dear friend who is constantly bringing up issues relating to political viewpoints and even racial viewpoints. And I've explained that I respect their viewpoint. They're entitled to those. I don't agree with it, and I'm not there to convince them otherwise. Can we please just drop this? And before I know it, it just circles back around to, but I'm just saying, and then pushing that agenda again. And it's gotten to where, it ruins meals if we're out eating together. It just makes for a really uncomfortable time together. And I feel that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, who is this person? Like just a friend or what's the connection?
Yeah. Just a friend, a good friend, a dear friend.
from, like, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that friendship.
Okay.
Oh, well, but hold that thought, because
No, she can
hold
tell
that
us.
thought.
I think she can tell us really quick. How long have you known each other? Where did you meet?
Okay, about a year through Al-Anon.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That gives me great insight. Thank you.
All right. Sarah, don't hang up. We will continue this conversation when we come back here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for watching us as well. We love talking to you here on New Life Live, and our listeners love hearing your story because many of them can relate to what you're going through. And so they pray for you as the Lord brings you to their mind. But if you can't call us when we're here in the radio studio, there are other ways you can reach out to us, which you can learn about on our website, newlife.com/radio. You can send us an email, you can send us a voicemail. That's if you can't call in when we're here talking to you live on the radio program. We'll be right back on New Life Live.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or a physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our life. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Los Angeles. Here is Sarah. Thanks for sticking through the break, Sarah. Thank you.
Hi, Sarah.
Okay.
I was thinking through, the reason why I asked the question is because you said she was a dear friend. And so tell me the positive part of that relationship when you describe her as a dear friend.
Okay. We share experiences in having been married to alcoholics, having grown children struggle with addiction. There's just some deep connections in terms of being able to relate to each other's grief or, past experiences, that type of thing.
Okay, yeah, you feel seen by her. Yes. It's such a great phenomenon. Go ahead.
Oh, in those aspects. But I don't feel seen or heard on this flip side.
Right, you were getting ahead of me on that one, Sarah. But I love the cat in the background. But
I can hear the cat.
Yes. But no, it's okay. I have a cat. I love cats.
She loves New Life too.
Oh, good.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well, so here's the thing. You know how I'm a true believer in recovery and recovery groups. I love Al-Anon. I love AA. I love Life Recovery. We've been helping people through the 12 steps forever. I mean, not forever,
Yeah.
but, for a long time. But one of the things I know for sure is the power of those connections is because you feel seen and heard. You know that somebody knows what you've been through when you hear them share at a group. So it's this natural connection. Here's where the connection ends, though, is if she cannot hear your no, if she cannot hear your protest against what she's sharing, that's a bigger problem. And if she continues to present political views that are, that she's, whatever her political views are, and not hearing you say, I'm not comfortable with that, she's actually preventing you from really being seen and heard. And she also is not being vulnerable because she's talking about something that's really not about the two of you. And so I'm just curious, when you have said not to do this, she stops for a minute, but then goes right back into it, right?
I wouldn't even say stops for a minute. I'd say, oh, I know, I agree with you, but, and then goes right back.
Okay, because the but means I haven't heard what you just said. So the challenge for you, Sarah, will be to, before we get into another round of this, I don't know that you heard me. And it's something we practice in recovery groups all the time is, this is my chance to talk. I'm not going to have crosstalk. I'm going to, be able to share my piece, my truth. And it's going to feel uncomfortable, but if the friendship is as dear as you say it is, this is the risk that you have to take in order to redirect those conversations.
Mark?
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if you can join with her on a shared experience here too. Just like we can continue to hear your cat. I mean, I have a cat too.
I love the cat.
Yeah, I love
Me
cats.
too.
I'm a
Me
cat
too.
person. I got a Maine Coon mix. But cats do this, don't they? When they want your attention, they will meow and they will meow until they get what they want. It's see me, hear me.
Yep.
And if you don't respond, I'm going to scratch the furniture.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
I see
is,
what
like,
you're saying.
she's kind of like your cat. She's like, meow, 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 meow. See me, hear me, and you're feeling unseen and you're feeling unheard at the same time. So maybe that's the joint area that you can join with her on and say, hey, it sounds like you've got a lot of anxiety over this. And you're needing to tell me because you feel unseen, you feel unheard. But I'm having a similar experience too, because I'm wanting to let you know I love you, I care about you, you're my dear friend, and I want to join with you on a different level because we just disagree on this. And when I tell you and you don't respond to that, you don't respect that boundary, I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard. So I love you, but can we meet here and recognize that we're both sharing a similar need and see where that goes? That's a lot more vulnerable. I mean, I could tell you that you could also hold boundaries with her and say, hey, listen, I love you, I care about you, but when you keep talking about this, I might need to end dinner, or we may need to, spend less time together. But it's a lot more productive to be able to try first to connect with someone in a shared experience.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. So it's a chance to see that this other person, for whatever reasons, may be feeling angst or concern over the issues that they keep addressing, and that's why they keep addressing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of anxiety. Emotions drive our behaviors, and that's exactly what is going on with her. She's just got all of this anxiety over it. She just needs to talk about it and process it, but you just might not be the right person to do that with, but what you can do is you can connect with her on that emotional level.
The other part of that too is, Sarah, you're feeling anxious because she doesn't hear you. So this is a cycle that can get disrupted. But I think the fact that you just had a kind of a light bulb go on, didn't you? That you were like, oh, I can see this.
Yeah.
And that's going to reduce your anxiety the next time she brings something up. And that's called detachment. That you can say, oh, I know what she's doing. And I can be present so that we can iron this out. It's worth doing, like what you said, Mark, just to get a little bit deeper. And if, if she comes back at it, I know, but say, time out. Let's just take a break for just a minute and talk about the weather.
And when you can navigate conflict with someone, you can actually build a deeper level of intimacy with them.
Although sometimes I have friends like this too. When you bring up the weather, they want to say, well, did you know that the government controls the weather too? And it's like, no,
they do?
Stop.
Let's send her a copy of the Life Recovery Journey. That will give her some different scenarios, as well as just affirm that 12-step journey.
All right, Sarah, stay on the phone. Thanks for calling in today.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Imagine seeing a difference in your marriage after just 3 days. That's what happened to an attendee of our Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. Here's their full quote. The therapists answer questions you're afraid to ask. I could see a difference in our marriage in just 3 days. It's worth the money because our marriage is worth it. New Life Ministries is committed to strengthening and restoring marriages through the Intimacy and Marriage Weekend. It's different from other help because of the deep work licensed therapists lead couples through in 12 sessions. Many have equated it to receiving months of therapy. The next Intimacy and Marriage Weekend Intensive is coming up July 25th in Washington, D.C. You can get all the details or register at newlife.com/IIM, as in intimacy in marriage, newlife.com/IIM. You know,
and I want to encourage couples that, don't be miserably married. What is your plan to have a good, healthy marriage? And maybe you don't go to this, but what is your plan? But maybe you know that you need to go to some in-depth work to get a new start and to have the marriage that you really wanted to when you walked down that aisle. And you said, I do. I don't think anybody gets married thinking, man, I hope this ends in divorce. This would be a great thing. No, nobody thinks that. But life gets really challenging. We've helped so many couples, and I just had to put that plug in there, because I don't want you to miss out on an opportunity to make a difference in your family and in your marriage.
Yeah, and I often tell people good relationships happen on purpose. They don't happen by accident. You don't trip up and fall into a good relationship. So you have to have a plan. And while hope is good, hope is not a plan. So just sitting and waiting and hoping it's going to get better, it's likely it won't. So you got to do something about that.
Plus, there might be a couple has been going through something and they're reluctant to attend Intimacy and Marriage because of finances or whatever. But whatever it is that you're doing right now doesn't look like it's working. I mean, you guys are constantly fighting and there's always that struggle. And we can assist you with that here at Intimacy in Marriage. Get all the details at newlife.com/IIM or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We would love to help you. We've helped so many couples in the last several years, and we want to help you as well. Again, newlife.com/IIM. You know, there are several ways that you can get your question to us here at New Life Live. Our favorite way is when you call us because we get to converse with you, but we know that that's not always possible because of your work schedule or whatever the case might be. So if you go to newlife.com/radio, you'll find out the other ways that you can submit your questions to us. One of them is through email, and JD sent us an email. He listens on the New Life Live podcast, which you can get wherever you get your podcasts. But JD's question is, apologizing to an abusive person for your part the right thing to do? Or does it make the person feel justified to continue to verbally abuse you? Now, here's some backstory from JJ. I have several people in my family who become angry and simply take their anger out on me. This can be direct or come in the form of a nasty comment given in a room full of people. It usually takes me off guard in that I'm not aware that I've said or done something wrong. Therefore, I tend to keep my conversations with them brief and rare. Honestly, the thought of apologizing for my part and because I'm not perfect, quote unquote, makes me cringe. And no, I'm not on the spectrum and misreading social cues, and I generally get along with coworkers, etc. I'm asking because of advice given here on New Life Live. Recently, a caller asked for advice on mending a relationship with her daughter who had slapped her. This had caused a year-long rift. The daughter felt she wasn't being listened to. One of the hosts thought it would be good to open a dialogue if the mother apologized for her part for not being a good listener. Is this a safe thing to do? What do you guys think?
I have so many questions, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Mark.
it depends, doesn't it? Depends on the situation. I mean, I'm not advocating any type of abuse, obviously, in that mother-daughter situation. And I wasn't on the show and I didn't hear the call, so I'm just going off what I'm making up in my head here. You know, the mother wants to be in relationship with the daughter. Something happened that wasn't right, but she holds a part in that dynamic. I think that is also different than ongoing abuse happening with you when there is a power dynamic. And that's the difference when somebody's in an abusive situation or an abusive relationship. There's a power dynamic that occurs in that. And yes, this person, JD, is right. If that person's not safe and you apologize to them, it could feel like justification of the other person's behavior to continue to do that. I'm imagining in the relationship, in this situation, there wasn't a power dynamic created. Something got out of hand and something unfortunate happened. And so I think there's a difference there in that scenario or in these dynamics here. What do you think, Becky?
Well, I'm thinking too, this goes back to what I started the show with reframing. Your perspective is everything, right? And so from his perspective, whether it's happening or not, this is his experience in his family. My questions, I said I had a couple of questions. My question would be, is this somebody who still lives within the household, or is this somebody that we're talking about family dinners or family occasions? When does this experience occur? And the reason why that's important is because if it's in a day-to-day context, he doesn't have his voice. And so his one question was, do I apologize for my part, or does that make it feel like they're going to get away with it? My answer to that question is, we all need to be the people that we were created to be. So if you've done something wrong, you apologize because you've done something wrong, not because it has some other tale that, now they think that they get away with whatever. We can get into those scenarios. Again, going back to reframing, we want to resolve whatever the problem is and manage the tensions that are occurring in these relationships. My recommendation to JD would be to get clarification on his sense of self, where he is in the family, where is his voice. And I think it'll get clearer about what's really going on. It kind of goes back to what we just talked about with Sarah. The friend keeps coming at her, but her anxiety is attaching to the friend's anxiety. So relationships, especially family relationships, there are not only power dynamics, but also roles in the relationship. If he's the youngest or if he's the oldest, there's so many just variables. So my suggestion would be, JD, I would want you to get in with a counselor and explore the family dynamics to be able to, have a voice and to kind of, manage the anger or the anxiety that's going on in the moment. But it would help if I had a little bit more clarification on what the dynamics
Yeah, I mean,
are.
there's nuance to all of these situations. I mean, for instance, if a husband was abusing a wife and physically and she yelled at him or said some nasty things back and then left, and they're separated, we're not saying like, oh, if the person's still dangerous, because you did something wrong, you should really go and apologize. There's nuance to these situations. Is the other person safe? Are they receptive? What do you feel like inside that you need for your character to resolve the ongoing cognitive dissonance inside? And so there's ways to acknowledge what you've done wrong, but also to think about, what's the purpose in all of this for the entire situation and the relationship?
I recently had a conversation with someone who her parents had divorced when she was young. She became parentified, if that's the word. All of a sudden the family was her responsibility because mom was gone, dad was working, dad was had multiple extra relationships. It was just very complex. And now that she's in her 30s, she's recognizing the impact it's had on her. And her initial response has been to be angry. Like she even said, there have been times where I said, well, what does your anger look like? And she's like, I'll throw things. I want to break things because I'm so mad. And I said, is that who you really want to be? And so she's like, well, no, but he's never going to change. Well, if he doesn't ever change, that doesn't leave you with no change option, right? And so, it was like a light bulb moment for her. She didn't realize that it didn't require her to stay stuck because they were stuck. But it takes one step at a time. And I would encourage JD, get with somebody who can help you organize and answer all the questions that I'm asking about this dynamic. But there's hope for connection, even with people who you're related to. But it can be tricky, right?
Definitely. JD, thank you so much for sending in your question by sending us an email at newlife.com/radio, which is just one of the ways that you can reach out to us here on New Life Live. We're going to take a break and then we're going to go back to the phones in just a moment. Thank you so much for listening to New Life Live. Thank you for watching. Also, thank you for supporting us through your prayers and through your financial gifts as well. You can donate online at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Back in a moment with your calls here on New Life Live.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And we're going to go right to the phones. Here is Rick listening to us in Ozark, Arkansas. Welcome to New Life Live, Rick.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for calling. How can we help you?
I don't even know where to start. I don't know. I've got such a long, drawn out. I'm an old man now. I'm 66 years old. But I've been
That's not old, Rick.
been through so much in my life. Broken marriages. My Lord, I've been married 6 times. My sixth wife, which I loved with all my heart, left me about 3.5 years ago. I believe in all my heart that she left me for another man. She blamed it on my addiction to pain pills because I hurt my back. I had to have back surgery, and I got hung up on these dadgum pills, and I'm having a battle with them to this day. But I know in my heart that my help comes from the Lord. I believe that with all my heart. And I believe if she had loved me, she would have stuck with me and seen me through this. I lost my home. I lost everything that I've worked hard for all my life. So now,
Rick.
Yes, ma'am.
How can we help you best today? I'm so glad that you called. But what is the best way that we can help you today? We hear the pain in your life.
I guess let me get something off of my chest.
Yeah, go ahead.
I believe if my wife had loved me, she would have stayed with me. I don't believe. I made good money. I was a traveling millwright / welder, and I was good. I was one of the best welders around. I made a point to get good because I didn't want to have to be somebody's grunt. I was determined that if somebody was going to be a grunt, somebody was going to be my grunt. So I got good at what I'd done. But I've lost everything.
Yeah.
I lost everything.
Rick,
but I believe in with all my heart that I'm where I'm supposed to be. I live in a big 5th-wheel camper out behind my 88-year-old mother, and I'm taking care of my mother now.
Okay.
And I believe that's where God put me. I believe that.
Well, or Rick, God is using you in this time, because God can use all different kinds of situations. But we hear the pain in your voice. We hear the loss. We hear just the challenges that you have overcome to this place. And I'm glad that you are able to help your mother in this season of her life.
I believe what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Do you have people around you, whether working with a counselor with this addiction to the painkillers, or do you have support like that?
No, I don't. I believe that God's going to help me with this. I believe that with all my heart.
Yep, he will, but you're going to need help, though, Rick. We know the damage that the painkillers have caused so many people across this country. It's devastating.
They're terrible. They're terrible.
They are. But I want to tell you, this is not something you're going to do by yourself. You're going to have help. We will get you connected with some help. But I want you to know that it doesn't mean that you're weak or anything. It's these pills are very powerful, and you're going to need help and a program and a process to overcome them. Mark?
Yeah, you feel old, Rick, because you've got a lot that's happened to you in your life, and you've got a lot of story to tell, and being able to tell that story to someone.
Got a bunch of stories to tell.
Being able to tell that story to somebody who can help you process through it, that I believe is going to be therapeutic and healing for you. And the good news, I think the good thing you've got going for you is you've got hope. So let us get you connected to someone. Okay?
Okay.
Is there a resource also that we can send to Rick from the newlife.com store?
Yeah, I actually want to give him a devotional, believe it or not.
No,
I want to give him 100 days of healing because I think, and we're going to get you connected, Rick, with either a treatment center or a counselor in your area that can help you. You know, this is a really difficult addiction, and it's impacted his life, but also just even, you know, the marriages that you talked about. We really want to get you the support that you need.
Rick, thank you for calling in today here on New Life Live. And we're going to send you that book, and we're going to get you the help that you need, like Becky said. Becky, we hear so many stories like Rick's, and just from all over the country, all over the world. We had a call earlier this week from Hungary, and New Life does so much for so many people, no matter, you know, what walk of life they're from or going through right now, what stage they're in, whether they're newlyweds or they've been married 6 times like Rick. How do we do it all, Becky?
Well, only by God's grace and by the generous donations of so many people. You know, I talked to a person who gives to the ministry, and I said, why do you give to New Life? And he said, New Life helped us, but also I want to make sure that people know that there is godly professional help that is available to you. And in this day and age where there's so many people who have left their faith separate from their help, you know, New Life wants to continue to integrate our faith and our professional work. And so, you know, I just want to encourage you, you know that people are hurting. Will you give to New Life so that we can continue to connect people with the help and the resources that they need in their time of trouble with a faith-based focus? I mean, Jesus is in the middle of all of this. We believe that he's working, but many times people just think, I just need to pray more. You know, we just heard Rick even just said that. I just need to pray. God's going to do this. God does work, and he also works through our program, through our workshops, through our counselors, our coaches, and so many other ways. So please give to New Life today. It makes a difference in the lives of so many people.
And I just found something out recently that we are letting people know about our ministry and the help that we provide on Christian movies and TV shows.
Yeah. So for example, there was a movie that just came out on Netflix, Jeremy Camp's story. He's a Christian artist. And at the very end of the movie, it's a very sad story, just spoiler alert if you don't know his story, but it's a great movie. At the end of it, the very last screen says, if you're struggling with grief, call 1-800, and it's Help for Me, which is our number, but also 1-800-NEW-LIFE was at the end of I Can Only Imagine, because that movie in particular was difficult. It dealt with with abuse, family abuse, and addiction. You know, we want to reach people where they are. Yeah. And the movie industry touches on a lot of that. We're not on all the movies, though, let me tell you. There's some movies you probably need to start the movie with it. It's like, before you watch this, call us.
Yes. So
we're happy to be out there.
Yeah, we're getting the word out to a lot of hurting people. And if that's you, we would love to hear from you tomorrow, because we've run out of time on today's program. But please call in tomorrow, or you can get in touch with us on our website, newlife.com. We have several resources there. We have a video library that's got hundreds of videos that you can watch. And if you need to talk to somebody, we are here for you at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or tomorrow you can call us as well to talk to one of our licensed counselors. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to New Life Live. For Becky Brown and Marc Cameron, I'm Brian Perez. God bless you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.